All right, we are live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we've got a lot to talk about in our live stream. We're going to talk about the latest big crypto airdrop where you can get some free money. And I think that's something that's probably going to sound pretty good to a lot of people right now as you're checking the crypto markets and wondering like, hey, what's going on here? Well, I'm going to weigh in on that too. What's happening in the crypto markets right now? We got a lot of ugly red across pretty much every single crypto asset. I'm going to talk about that. Look at a lot of other crazy news updates that have happened in this space since yesterday, because despite what's happening with the crypto markets, we're seeing a ton of adoption in this space and one really big leap in the right direction that I want to talk about today in this video. I would answer some of your questions and a whole lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got people jumping in the chat here. We got David Stone, Dale, Capital Ape, Sarthak, that's Kyle, I hope I'm saying that right, Norris, Clement, Shakuzi, I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so let's jump into this. Again, we got a lot to talk about in our live stream today. So much has happened since last week. I made an announcement last week. I was taking a really brief break from live streaming, but I'm back today, all right, to be with you all and talk about the crazy developments that are happening in crypto right now. So let's get in and talk about this major crypto airdrop. So again, we've been talking about airdrops a ton on this channel because frankly, it is airdrop season. So many projects are launching new tokens right now, and if you can position yourself and get into the right place to become a part of these airdrops, then the upside can be big. Again, I've been a part of a lot of these airdrops in the past where basically you can just get rewarded for being an early adopter of new technology. We've seen the Uniswap, 1inch Exchange, ENS, DYDX, so many apps, okay? I've been the multi-time recipient, sometimes getting $10,000 or more just for using an app before other people, okay? And it's airdrop season because we saw the Optimism airdrop I've been talking about on this channel. I've been showing you how to use some of these applications so that you can position yourself for this. So the one I want to talk about today piggybacks off of the Optimism airdrop we talked about a couple weeks ago, which is the, let's just see here, the HOP protocol. Okay, so Ethereum Bridge HOP protocol unveils token and airdrop for early users. So HOP protocol has come up with a governance token and a free reward for its early users. This makes HOP the latest crypto airdrop to issue its own token and do a retroactive airdrop. So again, this is one of those things where you have to use the application before they announce the airdrop to claim your eligibility, but I'll show you how to check on that in a minute. But one thing I do on this channel is try to help you see where these opportunities might be. I just made a video a couple weeks ago talking about like a laundry list of candidates. I talk about them regularly on this live stream and actually demonstrate how to use them. So if you're not eligible today on this, subscribe, keep watching. We're going to talk about lots of other projects that are likely to be candidates in the future. So anyways, HOP protocol is a multi-chain bridge on Ethereum that announced a governance token under the ticker HOP and an airdrop for early users and official statement on Thursday. So basically what happens is they're taking a decentralized protocol that has a high degree of centralized control over it. That's what a lot of blockchain projects do early. You get a team to build these smart contracts, build this technology, put it out there. Okay. And you have sort of your tentacles deep into this, some centralization risk to set it up. But over time, you sort of remove yourself from the equation. And you do that by introducing some sort of governance, decentralized governance mechanism. And then you can have a token that lets people hold the token to help govern the protocol. And that's exactly what HOP is doing here. So HOP is basically a bridge that lets you get off of optimistic rollups like Optimism really fast. So that's why it's related to Optimism airdrop I talked about last week. Again, Optimism is a layer 2 scaling solution built on top of Ethereum. People say all the time, like, hey, Ethereum's too slow, it's too expensive. ETH 2.0 is going to fix all this. It's not true. That's what layer 2 scaling solutions are for, where you build this second environment and you do the transactions that get included on the Ethereum chain. So one of the problems with optimistic rollups is they take a long time to process the withdrawal fees, several days in many cases, and HOP lets you bypass this really quickly so that you can get off the network really fast. That's what the bridge is for, and they're launching their token. So now one thing that's made a lot of people upset about the HOP protocol is that the requirements were kind of steep for this one, okay? So they're basically talking about, they're trying to cut out airdrop farmers. So they're taking a different strategy from, what we're talking about earlier, which is basically people who did like $1 transactions were not eligible. So they set a threshold. They set a threshold of total value sent of $1,000. So that's cutting out a lot of people who are just doing like one transaction and moving on. And we'll see what happens with future airdrops for that type of thing. They're talking about cutting out Sybil attacks. So they try to just game the system and get free money, not actually be a user. So the airdrop landscape is, rapidly evolving. The Optimism airdrop talked about last week. Why it's so unique is they are doing this retroactive airdrop for early users, but then they are also having a ongoing rolling airdrop for future tokens. Okay, and so that's already a departure from some of the early airdrops we've seen. Like Uniswap was the first major one that did this that I was personally aware of, and then you saw lots of other apps basically copy the same playbook where they said, hey, at this block number, we're going to take a snapshot of everybody who made a single transaction on any wallet, and then we're going to let you claim tokens. And so a similar type of thing is ENS did that, 1inch did that, lots of other people did the exact same thing. But now people are kind of tweaking that model a little bit. And we're starting to see people diverge from the sort of basic template, which is like, hey, we're going to do rolling airdrops to incentivize continued use. Or, hey, we're going to prevent people who just tried to game the system. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how this space evolves. But regardless of what happens, there's going to be lots of opportunities in the future to do this exact same thing, even if you missed out on this one. So definitely subscribe, turn on notifications, check out these live streams, all the videos that I'm publishing. I'm going to be giving you lots of opportunities down the road. But if you want to check your eligibility for this one, you can basically just go look on their site here. Let me just pull up the link. All right. So basically, if you want to check your eligibility, you can check out the Twitter here. So basically, you can app.hop.exchange and then click on the airdrop tab, and it'll show you, like, are you eligible or not? As you just connect your wallet, it'll say, like, are you a Hop Bridge user, the base amount, and they have a multiplier, volume multiplier, and then it'll show you based on each wallet. So let me down in the comment section below, are you eligible for the Hop airdrop? Let's see here. Never heard of it. Yeah, totally. So we got somebody who says, yeah, they're eligible. Awesome. Okay, so we got a lot more to talk about. We're definitely going to check on the crypto markets here in a minute. Things are looking pretty bloody right now. I'm going to weigh on that shortly, but I want to talk about some good news before we, spend too much time looking at crypto because, things are pretty painful right now. But this actually is really, really good news because at the end of the day, my whole view of the crypto space long term is adoption. The more stuff you can do with crypto, the better that is to the entire space. Better to pull people in, give them reason to use the technology, and that value can actually accrue to the cryptocurrencies themselves. And so one really good example of that is Instagram to support NFTs directly from other blockchains like Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, and Flow. Okay, so we've seen this kind of already with Twitter, right? So earlier this year, Twitter rolled out the support to connect your crypto wallet from multiple different blockchains and then verify your profile picture if you had an NFT avatar and prove that that was actually your account. Okay, you could do things like tip people in crypto. They supported Bitcoin, support lots of other cryptocurrencies as well. And now basically we're seeing the same type of thing on Instagram, but more. Okay, this is a bigger deal. Number one, Instagram has a massive user base. And number two, it really makes sense for NFTs. Number three, it actually taps into a really good crypto native way, and not just Meta's sandbox metaverse that they want to, that a lot of people are speculating that they're kind of moving toward in the future. So let's just check on the details. So NFTs from some of the most popular blockchain networks for crypto are coming to Instagram with the announcement of a pilot as soon as Monday. So that's really soon. That's today. The social media powerhouse owned by Meta is planning non-fungible token integrations for Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, and Flow. Basically, that's where most of the NFTs are happening. So it's gonna roll out to a small group of NFT aficionados based in the U.S. So we weren't sure exactly what it's going to support in terms of the initial change, but basically they do intend, this is the really important part, they do intend to support widely used cryptos like MetaMask, crypto wallets, basically where you can just plug in your wallet, link it to Instagram, and then prove that you have the NFT ownership. That's going to be really big because, in my opinion, the future of, crypto mass adoption, one of the big components is mobile integration. And so if you can have a mobile wallet like MetaMask, on your device, and then basically you have this ability to link in between different, apps where it's like, reading your wallet to pull out stuff and then pull it into a new app where you can prove it on your iOS device or Android device, whatever it is. That's going to be big UX support. And here's the reason why it's also important is because it's supporting other blockchains and other tools, not just like Meta's long-term vision of whatever their sort of sandbox or siloed metaverse is. Because that's one thing that a lot of people worry about with Meta in the long term. Of course, Facebook rebranded Meta, so that's their parent company that owns Facebook, Oculus, Instagram, all that type stuff. That they were just going to create some sort of like siloed metaverse experience that doesn't talk to any of the blockchains, doesn't talk to any of the other NFTs. And while that might be true in terms of something, future that we haven't quite seen yet roll out, it's not true in this case where they actually want to use public open blockchain infrastructure to pull NFTs in on Instagram. So that's a really big, really, really big step in the right direction for this entire space. So the decision likely spells a rush of new cultural visibility for NFTs. Instagram has over 1 billion monthly active users, many of whom use the platform to promote and market their art. Yeah, totally. So I think it's big for artists. So let me know what y'all, let me know if you all got any Instagram features roll out. I haven't checked Instagram to see if I've been NFT eligible, but apparently they're rolling out as early as today. So if you all have eligibility, let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from y'all. All right, so let's see. Let's check on the crypto markets now. So somebody said, "I'm buying the dip in these dark times." That's a comment from the chat. That's not what I'm saying necessarily. All right, so let's just take a look here. Things are looking pretty rough in the crypto markets right now. Let's actually pull up the social sentiment. I'm curious what it is. I'm gonna guess it's extreme fear if I'm even looking at it. Yeah. So basically, if you look at the social sentiment, we are currently in extreme fear 11, okay? So if you pull this up historically, I feel like this is like, yeah, this is like, let's just see here. If I look at 1 year ago, yeah, we're in like the really low territory. The last time it was this bad was like last summer, like last July. I guess we had some of it in the beginning of this year, but yeah, we're in peak fear right now. So let's check on the price. Okay, so we are seeing, so Bitcoin, we're $32,491. All right, we've seen a pretty rough correction over the weekend. Where I think we're down close to 20% in 7 days. Let's just check here. Not quite 20% on Bitcoin. We've hit 20% on some major, or some mid caps, I would say, and majors. All right, so about 15% on Bitcoin the past 7 days. Let's just pull up. Sorry, I lost my trading view chart there. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the summer lows from last year. All right. So what do I think about short-term price? Again, long-term, if you've been watching this channel, you've heard me say this a million times, but just like I was talking about a minute ago, my long-term thesis is that, as we're creating more technology, as we create something that has real benefits to the end user, insofar as crypto is integrated with that technology in itself, that because it's got sound economics behind it, the more demand that generates for crypto assets because you need them to interact with the technology, et cetera, et cetera. And for that reason, long-term, I think our price can trend higher. Now, in the short term, we've got a lot of ugliness happening here, and it's really hard to tell. And exactly what's been going on since the beginning of the year, towards the end of last year, has not been a crypto-specific problem, but has definitely been a macro problem with stocks, with pretty much every other major asset, okay, which has basically been, just the economic headwind that's been in everybody's face, okay? So we've seen that with, the tightening monetary policy. We've seen it with, all kinds of stuff. The conflict happening in Europe, all that type of stuff. So basically, if we check to see what's going on with the stock market, I mean, we're singing the same tune in terms of trend, right? We're just in a bear market across all major assets. Now, that does mean it is a bear market in the short term for crypto, but what does that mean? Is it going to be a grueling multi-year, bear market? I still think that the odds of that being the case are low, in my opinion. But also being said, is we don't exactly know what's going to happen with broader, markets. I mean, it's looking pretty rough. We're now negative from the past year on the S&P. Okay, you can check other stocks as well. Let's see here. Let's check, see what's going on here. Yeah, we're negative across, major, like pretty much every major industry I see on the past year. So, that being said, we are seeing peak fear in the market right now across pretty much everything. Okay, you don't see this much volatility happen in the stock market. You don't see this much, bearishness happen in the stock market either. Over many decades. Okay, so one possibility that in the short term we could see some sort of relief. All right, basically people coming in to buy the bottom. Okay, we could see a bottom form, sooner rather than later. I have a lot of people I'm watching talking about, what's going on with this bearishness is that we're hitting close to what a lot of their sort of bottom price targets are. We saw a lot of predictions come out for Bitcoin bottoming close to $30,000, for the ETH bottoming close to 25K. All right, so we're getting pretty close to those numbers. The real question is, how long can you just sustain bearishness across all these major assets before people start seeing it as a buying opportunity? Because that's the thing you really have to grasp. Is at some point, smart money starts looking at what's happening and seeing upside potential. And the lower you go, the bigger potential that becomes, as long as there's no really crazy, like looming catastrophes ahead. Okay. So for example, if you look at something like, the S&P 500, right? And I'm just using this as a proxy for crypto. It's not a proxy for crypto. I just mean all financial assets. Like people who are not in crypto, at some point, they're going to look at this and say, okay, this is now worth less than it was a year ago. Said another way, you wiped out an entire year's worth of gains. So do you really think that over the long term, like you're not going to make money if you just buy now? You know what I mean? So assuming that we start to get some sort of bottom, that's a risk-reward scenario. That's a favorable risk-reward scenario because you have price history significantly above your buy-in price. And it's sort of like, okay, am I never going to make money if I buy here? Whereas, if you're tippy top of a really long uptrend, it's not as good as a risk reward scenario, because you could fall a lot back down to these lows that we saw here. And unless you're buying here, once you have significant amount of price history above that, you have a year's worth of price history above that. So the same is true for, Bitcoin and other major cryptos. Okay. So, at some point, somebody's going to, once things start to kind of cool off a little bit, people are going to come back in and look at the Bitcoin price and other major cryptos. Okay. Not every crypto necessarily, but other major cryptos that have stood the test of time, and see that, like, okay, this Bitcoin thing, maybe it's close to $30,000, but if I bought now and it just goes back to its all-time high, then I can double my money on an asset that's been $60,000 2 times in the past year. That's a really good risk-reward scenario. Now, at $30,000, because here's the thing, it could go back down to $20,000, it could go back down to $15,000, but the likelihood that it's going to go down there and stay there for a really long time versus getting back up to $60,000, I think there's a lot of people that are going to make that bet that it's probably going to go to $60,000 faster than $15,000. Or if it goes to $15,000, it's not going to stay there quite as long and could get back to $60,000 a lot faster. And the upside from there is really a lot higher. I mean, I'm still a believer in 100K Bitcoin, a 10K Ether. All right. I don't exactly know when that's going to happen. But at some point, there's a lot of smart people that are like, that ratio looks pretty good. Whereas up here, it didn't look quite as good, especially since you'd gotten there so fast. So that's my kind of like big picture outlook on it. Now, I don't know where the bottom is, truth be told. I really don't know where the bottom is. But it feels like, it feels like it's going to start looking like a good buying opportunity for a lot of smart money soon. I'll put it that way. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Somebody says, we are in a bear market. I just said we were in a bear market earlier. So the real question is, what do you mean by bear market? So the person who, rashly said, we're in a bear market, dude, I'm going to have a feeling that you didn't sit here and watch the crypto price every single day from January 2018 through March 1st of 20, or like April 1st of 2020, because I did. I've been through the big bad bear that nobody wants to go through. Somebody says the trick is calling the bottom and knowing when to buy in. Bottoms are really hard to call. Really, really hard to call. Somebody says it's a bloodbath, though. Yeah, it's pretty rough right now. There's no denying that. I'm not going to try to make a light on it. I mean, trust me, I'm feeling the pain just like everybody else is. But one, the thing that I want to see, again, I don't like to be a bottom caller, but the steepness of this drop is starting to feel like a capitulation. Okay. But I don't know. You know what I mean? The counter argument to that is we haven't seen enough selling volume, basically to call it a capitulation just yet. Typically, when you see these big capitulations, it just like you see massive amounts of selling volume, and the selling volume does not look. We don't see the big selling volume like you did back here, or like right here. And I guess you could say that this was the capitulation, but I don't know. I feel like, we could get it today. We could get it this week. But here's the other thing. It could be that thing that everybody's expecting and looking for, and then markets have a way of doing exactly the opposite of what everyone anticipates, and then you're sitting there waiting for the capitulation, and it doesn't arrive, and then you just, you know, miss it and the price goes up. That's basically what happened here. You know, that's basically what happened last summer. So, you know, let me see if I can. Back here, you know, we saw this. And then when you're looking at this chart right here, like this looks pretty ugly. But what happened after that? We went back to a new all-time high. So, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do a couple more things here. Let's go ahead and check the trends on chain. All right, let's see what's trending on chain right now. We got a lot of NFT drops happening. So we're going to look at new projects that have flown in the space in the last several days. This, again, my daily routine. Try to share it with you all. I share this multiple times a day, but I've been doing these live streams to help you all see, you know, what's happening here. If you want access to this list, you can subscribe to the link down below. You get a lot more stuff besides just our trending algorithm. You can find out about alerts in real time, analyze wallets, you know, track some of the smartest users on chain, and a whole lot more. So the first project that we're looking at here is a Sky NFT token. So Skyverse. All right, let's just pull this up. It's like a mint that's happening right now. So we got 4 rarities. All right, common, rare, epic, legendary. So Skyverse Tickets. So the Sky Ticketer is one-stop utility marketplace where holders can spend their Sky token for raffle tickets for highly coveted WL opportunities. All right, so here's their roadmap and everything. So we got a lot of minting happening there. Let's just see here. And we've also got we checked on this one last week, but it's still trending, okay? We got the public mint that's happening literally right now. Okay, this is the Humanities NFT project, so let's pull that up. So the Humanities public sale mint is live right now, okay? So basically, what's the utility? It's a socially conscious NFT collection born on the Ethereum blockchain, led by established female artists. We can see the artist info down here, okay? Let's read more about that. So again, this is not like a sponsored video about these projects or anything. What I'm doing is showing you my discovery process and the tool that I use to do it. Again, you can get the link to that down in the description below. So I found about a lot of early projects, ApeCoin, Stargate Finance, lots of stuff. Those are just some of the recent ones that have been pretty big winners. Let's just see. I'm actually going to check on Ape here. Of course, Ape's been getting drugged down by everything else, but we got an Ape here, 916 and 2363. So it's not too bad when all the rest of the crypto markets lost half its value. And same thing with the airdrops. Okay, so finding some of these early stage projects can be a nice relief from some of the big sell pressure from the overall markets, and us also with some of the airdrops that are happening right now. So another thing I want to talk about is actually pull up a student project. I got a message about this. I thought it was pretty cool. So let's see what it is here. So this is from Mike. So Mike sent me a message on a project that he had built. Mike's been an active member from the Dapp University community. So basically, I'll read Mike's message here and talk about his project, 'cause I thought this was pretty cool. I want to show you all an example of something that a real world project that one of our students has created. So Mike says basically launched upon Ethereum on October 21. With a mission to help animals using blockchain technology. I'm proud to say that since launching, Paul Ethereum has donated almost $500,000 in crypto to animal welfare organizations all over the world. So over $500,000 if you count our partner donor matches. So it even caught the eye of Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary, so AKA Mr. Wonderful. So basically say thank you for putting out amazing content, because without you, look forward to continuing the Web3 journey. Yeah, awesome. So congratulations, Mike. I told Mike I'd give him a shout out. I thought this is a pretty cool project showing you what you can do. And that's the amazing thing about the blockchain is it's permissionless, it's open. You can create these real world projects to do things. Really the limit is your imagination. Okay. And, we're talking about a project that, was created, launched, it's had $500,000 worth of donations and matches. Okay. For a real world use case. Did a good job. So definitely check it out. I'll put a link in the live chat replay here. And so that's really, that's one of the cool things about this space is, like I said, the limit is just your imagination. And, everybody is like freaked out about the bear market stuff. Again, I've been here through a really long, grueling bear market, which I still just don't think we're going to have quite as bad as what we saw back then. Okay. But here's the good news. Like basically I used all that time to establish a really robust skill set and expertise. Like I'd already been doing I'd already been doing blockchain before the bear market really hit. Okay. But during that time is when I really doubled down on the skills, because even when the bear market came, like there was still a ton of demand for blockchain developers. Okay. Because everybody knew that the space had just leaped forward, okay, that all this money had been raised, and so many people were trying to get ahead of the next wave and build that next generation of blockchain-based applications and, become the winner. That's where the incentives are, and they all needed blockchain developers to realize that vision, and there was a ton of demand for tech talent, even when crypto prices were down. So that's one of the greatest things about being a blockchain developer, and that's one of the things that I promoted so heavily on this channel, is because that's where the long-term opportunity is for most people. Because even right now, let's say you bought the bottom of our, cryptocurrency, bear market. Let's say today is the bottom and you just went all in, right? Now let's say Bitcoin went to 100K like at the end of this year. Like you'd start to invest a whole lot of money in order to, just like have, get life-changing money. Even if you bought Ether, even if you bought Solana, even if you bought anything that's like super down, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, doesn't matter. You'd still have to sell the top again. And for most people, you can get a life-changing result by just, changing your career to make a life-changing income and also have a skill and a job that you actually like compared to what you do now. And so that's one reason I teach that so heavily on this channel. You're seeing examples of people who have, broken into this space and built their own projects. I've helped lots of people, change their careers, become real world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so then more people can learn about blockchain. And, how can you get started today? You can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find those free courses there. They're like YouTube courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. Again, you don't have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching.